still drinking a coffee, so don't don't mind me. I see more students joining, so hello, welcome. We are just taking a few minutes to let everyone join, and then we will get started with our formal presentation. And we'll be able to answer all of your questions. I'm going to close some things in my background here so that I can share my screen and we won't be distracted. Any emails coming in? Great. Thank you for letting me know in the chat what you're interested in. For those of you who are just joining as we wait a couple of minutes, if you would like to share in the chat what you're thinking of studying at university, then that will help me get to know you a little bit better as a student. And I can ensure that I am, giving you the most accurate information. Usually we do these in person, but obviously we've shifted in some capacity to virtual, which is great because it means that we can connect anywhere at any time. But usually if I'm in person, this would be the time that we could kind of learn a little bit about each other. So that's more challenging for me now in these virtual sessions because, not everybody wants to share at the beginning, which is totally fine. I'll get it out of you at some point. So if you do feel comfortable sharing the program or area that you're interested in studying, you can put that in the chat. Otherwise, as we go through the session shortly, I'll give you all of that information. And I will make sure to leave a little bit of time at the end for questions so that I can answer your questions before wrapping up. And of course, Mr. Farouk will also give some very valuable information on the study permit process, the SDS process, and how that works for those of you that are coming from Pakistan. If you can hear my dog in the background, there's people walking by, so he's barking. Hello. Can you hear him? Just 1 second. I'm going to shut the blind on the door so he can't see people walking by. Just 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. My dog was barking and now he's sitting on my lap. So we have a special guest joining us. And for those of you, if you like dogs, if you like animals, we are lucky at St. Mary's that we have a campus cat, Carlton, who hangs around. And we are a dog-friendly area for some staff. So sometimes my dog comes with me to work, but everyone's very respectful. So if you're someone who doesn't, love animals or isn't very comfortable, or maybe you're nervous, that's fine. You don't have to pet them, but they're pretty cute. All right.
Yes. Okay,
I
I
thought
think
that would be disruptive. He might be barking in the back the whole time, so I just put him on my lap.
nice, nice talk. I think we should start.
Sounds great. Wonderful. So would you like me to jump right into my portion and then you can chat at the end about the study permit?
Yes, yes, it will be good.
Awesome.
Yes.
That sounds great.
So I welcome you in this event, and I hope you will have a good time with Pakistani students.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm very excited. So hi again to everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Lindsay Benoit. I work at St. Mary's University. I'm going to share my screen here so that you can see what I'm seeing and see what I'm chatting about. Okay. I always laugh at myself because we've been doing Zoom for 3 years now, and I still always have to verify. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Perfect. All right. Great. So welcome again, everyone. I'm looking forward to spending the next under an hour with you. I'm going to share information about St. Mary's University and our undergraduate programs. So I work in the undergraduate recruitment and admissions department. So my job is to help international students alongside our partners like Farouk to ensure that you have all of the information you need to feel comfortable and confident as you embark on your next journey at St. Mary's University and in Canada. So I have lots of information to share today, and I will leave some time at the end for questions so that I can make sure that you're leaving with all of those questions answered. So if you're here today, chances are you are interested in coming to Canada. And there is a lot of benefits to choosing Canada as your post-secondary destination. There's a lot of amazing places to go in the world, and that's an overwhelming decision. So once you've kind of narrowed it down to one country or one area of the world, that makes it a little bit easier because every country and every education system is really, really different. So it can get overwhelming when you're looking at all of the options that you have. So why students choose Canada is for a number of reasons. We do have a consistent high quality education system. So in Canada, most of our institutions and most of the institutions that you've heard of are public institutions. We do have private institutions, but I typically would recommend that students look at a public institution, which again is different than other countries, because we are regulated by the government. So if you are choosing a school, you know, the University of British Columbia, University of Toronto, St. Mary's University, Waterloo, all of these universities are public institutions, which means we are held to the exact same standards and regulations for education. So that's really important when you as an individual are looking at this investment in your future and what you want next. Globally recognized academic programs obviously kind of falls into that same category, but beyond education, you're getting a welcoming Canadian culture. It's known around the world that Canadians are friendly and they're welcoming. And I am Canadian myself, so I might be a little bit biased, but I really do hope that that is true for you and your experience. And that is what we hear from our international students. It's very attractive in Canada that you have the option and the ability to work not only while you're studying to make a little bit of money, but also after you graduate. So we do have the postgraduate work permit program. So when you come to Canada, you complete your program, depending on the length of that program at St. Mary's, our programs are 4 years in length. So you would then get a 3-year postgraduate work permit where you're allowed to work anywhere in Canada for up to 3 years. And then once that process is kind of begun, you can start the PR process or the permanent resident process if immigration is something that you are interested in. So lots of really kind of good little perks that you get to take advantage of, you know, if you do decide that you want to make Canada your home. And there is a high quality of life here in Canada. So these are things that you want to look for when you're choosing where you want to go for school. So where we are located, if you're not super familiar with the geography of Canada, we are on the east coast of Canada here in Halifax. Our province is called Nova Scotia, and we're in the capital city of Halifax. So we're about a 2-hour flight from Toronto, an hour and a half from Montreal, and we are on the other coast from British Columbia or Vancouver, which is the largest city on the west coast. So we are a really diverse and fun, laid back place to be in Canada. And I'll talk a little bit about Halifax and what we have to offer and what students like about coming to Halifax for their university experience. We are really the true definition of a student city. So there is a number of institutions, colleges, and universities in Halifax. So every year, about 50,000 students make their way to our city for studies. But when you're looking at kind of overall Canada and the different city options that you have, Halifax is more of a medium-sized city. So we have just under 500,000 people. And I know that if you're coming from larger places in the world, specifically South Asia, that does not sound like a lot of people. But it really is a nice combination. You have everything that you would need from a big city, but you have a laid-back, friendly, less hustle bustle than you would find in, you know, maybe a Toronto or a Vancouver. And so this is a really great thing for students is when you're deciding where you want to go to school, it's important to know like the vibe that you're looking for. If you want a small town, if you want a huge city, like what is it that you envision when you think about your university experience? Halifax is safe. It's friendly. We are seeing the cost of living increasing across the country in Canada, which is something that you need to be mindful of when you're making your decisions. So Halifax is still, you know, a more affordable option than some of the larger cities. We are right on the water. We are a seaside town, a seaside city, and our campus, St. Mary's University, you can see the little dot that just popped up on your screen. That's where we're located. So we're about a 10-15 minute walk from the downtown city center. So everything that you need, you can walk to from the St. Mary's campus. We are a very lively place to be. We are one of the fastest growing cities in Canada right now. We're number 2 in Canada for tech diversity and wage growth. So these are things that you want to think of when you are deciding where you want to go to university, because you want to be able to take advantage of opportunities that are going to help make you a well-rounded individual. And you'll probably hear me say that a couple of times today, because the Canadian industry, whatever industry you look to go into, whether it's, you know, something in healthcare, whether it's something in tech, whether it's, you know, computing science, whether it's education, we are seeing that people are looking to hire candidates who not only have a great academic background, but also have other things to offer. So gone are the days where it's all about going to school, getting grades, graduating, and moving on to your job. You really want to show that you have, you know, a diverse portfolio to add to that company or add to that, you know, job that you're being hired for. So having a city or a place that allows you to get involved in the community, to network, to gain experience in your field before you graduate These are things that are really important to look at when you're deciding, again, where you want to go to school. If you like the water, you will love Halifax. We have a ferry system that you get to use as a part of your student fees. We have the longest boardwalk in North America. So if it's a Saturday morning and you wake up early and you get together with some friends, you walk down to our farmers market, which is right on the water, get coffee, get some baked goods. That's something that I loved to do on the weekends when I lived right next to campus. But we are a big like musical city. So there's always festivals and live music and great food, great seafood. If you like seafood, it's really a beautiful place to be. So welcome to the St. Mary's University campus. We are located in one city block. So this is the type of university experience that students who are looking to be connected and really feel that sense of community are going to like. So it's kind of rare to see a university that is in the heart of the city, that is surrounded by so much greenery and beauty, but is not spread out. So it's very convenient if you're living in residence, which are the three buildings on the back of the screen. You'll see the two tall high-rise buildings and then the lower building. So those are our residence buildings, and those buildings are connected to almost all of our academic buildings with tunnels and pedways. So it's really easy to get around in the mornings. You know, if you are a computing science student and you have a calculus class at 8:30 a.m. and you know you just kind of roll out of bed and get to class, super easy, super convenient. And you know, you're going to know people in the hall, you're going to get to know your professors, and it's a really good kind of layout, which is really the feedback that we do get from students when they get to campus. We are one of the oldest universities in Canada, so we have a very long-standing history of tradition and academic excellence. We have been a university that welcomes a very large number of international students every year. So we have students every year from between 110 to 120 countries. So we really are experts in welcoming students from outside of Canada. This also means that you can, you know, connect with people from all around the world. And I think one thing that we've learned in COVID, or that I've learned in COVID, is it's so much easier to be globally connected now than ever before. So being able to work with people from a ton of different backgrounds, you know, languages that they speak at home, foods that they eat, traditions, holidays that they celebrate. It's really a beautiful thing to go to a place where all of that is very much a part of the day-to-day. So one thing that I always like to share with students who are coming to St. Mary's is you're coming to experience Canada, but you're also coming to teach others about where you're from and about your culture and your values and who you are as a person. So bring that with you when you come to St. Mary's, because it makes the experience inside and outside the classroom that much better. In your classes in first year, you're going to be with, you know, 30 to 60 students. We do have a couple of larger classes. The largest class is about 200 students, but there's only a few of those. And then for every large, you know, 200 person class, you would have like a lab component, which would be between 20 and 30 students. So St. Mary's is a place where if you're looking for a personalized university experience, you want to get to know your peers, you want to get to know your professors, this is the type of place that's going to give you that opportunity. We do have about 7,000 students in total. So that is our student population. I don't know if somebody drew that on the screen or if that was me. But that's our field. So if you like sports, that's where you'll be playing sports. So I will move into things that, before we get into programs, things that you can experience in your degree that allows you to get that well-rounded approach, as I had mentioned earlier, talking about going, you know, beyond the classroom. going beyond academics. So one thing that is a big part of the St. Mary's experience is co-op. So co-op is cooperative education, and it's essentially paid internships. So it allows you to get connections and make money and experience in your field of study. So maybe you are a psychology student or a criminology student, and you're working with people in like the local police station. We've had psych students who are doing, taking victim impact statements. We have students who are studying computing science, and they're working at IBM, doing, some IT stuff behind the scenes for their IT department. We have had students who are studying history who are working at the local museum. So there's a ton of different options that you get to look at and apply for, and it is going to help you stand out as an individual for whatever your next step is, whether that's moving on to a graduate program or just applying for a job. It's going to make you a more marketable candidate. Research is something else that happens at St. Mary's in all of our programs. So arts, business, science. Research is not just a science-specific initiative. So one of the great things about St. Mary's, we are a primarily undergraduate university. So we are focusing on students who are coming and completing their first degree after high school. So because of that, the professors on our campus that are doing research are hiring undergrad students. So this means that you could be graduating from your bachelor degree and you have already been published in research articles, international scientific journals, perhaps. You also have the connection with that professor, that research advisor, who can then help you with your application to whatever it is next. So having that connection and that person to ask, for a reference is very valuable. Fieldwork is also something that we tie into our programs. So this is where you get to take what you're learning in the classroom, apply it to a real world setting, kind of like a field trip. So these students are environmental science and environmental studies students. So where we're located in the world, we're home to the world's highest tides. And a lot of the things that happen in environmental science and environmental studies have to do with ocean, the aquatic ecosystem that we have around our province. So those students are regularly in the field, taking samples, looking at things and applying it to real world situations, which I think is great. So quick overview of our programs. As I mentioned, we are a primarily undergraduate institution. So this means that we are offering 4-year bachelor's degrees. So we have a Faculty of Science, a Bachelor of Science. We have our SOBI School of Business. So that's our business school, our business program, or Bachelor of Commerce is what it's called at St. Mary's. We have a Bachelor of Arts, which is the Faculty of Arts. And then we have an engineering division as well. So our engineering degree is a collaborative degree. So you would start the first 2 years at St. Mary's University. Then in your 3rd year, you move to the engineering campus. It's just a couple of blocks up the road from St. Mary's, and you would finish your final 2 years there. So something that I like to point out about the Canadian university system is if there's something that you're interested in studying and you don't see it on the screen here, or you don't see it when you're looking at other schools, it's important to know that it doesn't mean you can't study that or you can't move on into that area. So for example, in Canada, we have what are called professional programs. So medicine, dentistry, teaching, law. These are all programs that would be a second degree or a second component to your education. So in order to apply to any of those programs, you would need to first complete a 4-year undergraduate degree. So if you want to go into medical school and you say, oh, there is no pre-med at this university, or there's no medicine at this university, I can't go there. It's not true. In order to go to medical school in Canada, you need a 4-year undergraduate degree. That degree technically can be in anything. I would recommend science to ensure that you have the foundation to be successful when you're moving through that process for medical school. Same with law. If you don't see law or pre-law, it doesn't mean that you cannot apply or be qualified to apply to a law school. So we work with you. The system at St. Mary's is very flexible. So for myself, I started at St. Mary's in one program. I changed my mind like 4 times because I kept taking classes that I had never taken before and realized I had a lot of different interests. So the system is flexible. If you say, oh, you know what, I'm going to apply to commerce and I want to do finance, but then you decide that you really love math, maybe you want to do both. You know, maybe you wanted to major in one and minor in the other. So you don't have to know from day one what you want to do. If you do know what you want to do, that's awesome. But allow yourself the openness to change your mind and explore new things because you really don't know what might happen. So there's ways that if you're an art student, you're going to take courses in these different areas and vice versa. So I'm just going to turn off the annotation here so people can't on the screen. Although I do love all your artwork. So beyond the classroom, there is so much to do at university. So getting involved and having fun is part of it. Obviously, supports are very important. So we want to make sure that you feel supported as you go through the university experience at St. Mary's. So for example, we have supports that are tied to academics. We have a really great writing center. We have tutoring for all students. So that allows you to get help in the programs that you're looking at. So just one moment here. I'm just gonna turn that off. Then we have supports that are non-academic. So, you know, like counseling center. We have an international student center, which is where you can go to get any support with your study permit or your work permit or whatever it is that you need assistance with. We've got you. Clubs and societies. This is where you can get involved in the university experience, whether that is, you know, the History Society, maybe it's the Accounting Society, it can be tied to academics, or maybe it's the Sandwich Society. Like we have a group of students that get together and they just like sandwiches. So they created the Sandwich Society. We have a great student newspaper. We have a gaming society. So lots to get involved with. There's going to be students at university that are into the same things that you are. So you're going to be able to find a great group of like-minded individuals will, you know, add to your experience. Athletics. So whether you're someone who is a high-level athlete, you want to get involved in varsity sports, maybe you just want to stay active, have fun, meet more friends. There's lots of athletic options for you. Professors are great. They have office hours where you can meet with them and connect with them, ask questions, get extra help. We have orientation, or as we call welcome weeks. Part-time jobs are available on campus for students, but you are able to work off campus as well if you'd prefer. Sports, as we saw earlier, the field is in the middle of our campus. So if you're interested in watching the university sports, you can do that. And residents, of course, a big part of the university experience. You get to live on campus, be close to everything, make friends. It's a really big part of coming to university as an international student. And residence is super fun. You can live by yourself, you can live with a roommate. Our residence department actually does a really good job of connecting people and matching roommates. So if you're like, oh, I need a roommate, but I'm a little bit nervous, they're really good for doing that. Just a couple shots here of some sports. I do see some questions coming in and I will answer them, I promise you. I just want to make sure I kind of get this out of the way before we get to the Q&A, but I promise you we'll get there. For admissions, we are used to working with tons of different curriculums. So this is just kind of a general overview, but we understand that, you know, people are in different situations. I know that now exams are happening for students in Pakistan. So happy to see that. We look at every application individually. So if you're looking at something here and you're thinking, I don't have that requirement, or I'm not sure that I have this, that's fine. We do look at every application individually, and we will help you navigate whether or not what you want to do is a good fit for our requirements. And there's never a no. So there's always going to be a pathway. If you're missing a requirement, there's a way to make it up. There's a way to open doors if you're, interested in something, but you don't necessarily have the correct portfolio at this point in time. It's okay. We can work with you. So for arts, we look for English, 4 additional academic subjects. So we're only looking at 5 subjects for each student in the program that you're interested in. So commerce, we need English, we need math, and we need 3 additional academic subjects. For a Bachelor of Science, we need English, math, 1 science subject, either biology, chemistry, or physics, and then 2 additional subjects. For engineering, English, math, chemistry, then we do prefer physics, but if you don't have physics, we can take bio, and then 1 additional academic subject. So if you are a student who did like a British pattern system, we would look at a combination of your A and O levels with final scores of A, B, or C. If you did like HSC, we would look for overall average, 60-70% is kind of what we're looking for. And then depending on your academic background, we may require an English proficiency test like IELTS, which for that it's a score of 6.5, nothing below 6. When you apply to St. Mary's, right now for the September 2023 semester, we have passed our scholarship deadline, which was March 1st. However, we are accepting, or we are looking until July 1st, students who are applying for January 2024, we will assess you for our renewable entrance awards. Beyond that, every year at St. Mary's, you can apply for more scholarships. We do not have any full scholarships. We work, on a partial scholarship system. So we will assess you for those renewable entrance scholarships as long as you apply by July 1st. And then beyond that, you'll be able to apply for awards when you get to St. Mary's. You're looking at fees and tuition. This is an example of someone who is in the commerce program. So your tuition, that will be for 1 year. This is in Canadian dollars. Your tuition includes a full year of courses, which is 10 courses in the year. Typically, you take 5 courses each semester. So 5 courses September to December, 5 courses January to April. And you have fees, which includes your Canadian health and dental insurance. It includes a transit pass, bus system, ferry system. Some other fees are in there as well. Meals and accommodations. For the sake of this example, I've used someone who's in a single room with unlimited meal plan. So there is some different options when it comes to meals and accommodations. So that's an estimate for 1 year of studies at St. Mary's. So that is kind of the wrap up for me. So there's some contact details here on the screen. I'm just going to leave that there while I just pop into the chat and I can answer some questions. Just bear with me. I see someone asked about working while you study. Absolutely. So when you receive your Canadian study permit, it allows you to work while you are studying. Someone here is inquiring about agriculture. So at St. Mary's, we do not have an agriculture program. I also see someone asking about aviation. So aviation, we do within the engineering program, there is an aviation kind of little specialization within that. We don't have kind of a specific aviation program. St. Mary's. Can you apply for study permit after passing 12? So like your 12th year of school? Yes. So if that's what you're asking, for your admission, we would need your HSC results or like A-level, O-level. Whatever point you get those, that's when we could assess you for admission, get your letter of acceptance, and then you can apply for the study permit. And Mr. Farouk is going to talk shortly about the study permit, so that he can specify those questions for you. So when you are coming to a 4-year degree, we do not have a foundation year at St. Mary's. So there is no foundation year. Your 4-year degree is designed to allow you to kind of ease into the university experience. So obviously in your first year, all students are coming from high school for the most part, right? So we know that these first year classes are going to be meant for students who may have no prior knowledge in that area, and our professors know that. So when you're choosing courses, we help you choose the courses that are going to be the right fit for you. You're not going to take a 3rd year course in your first year because you don't have that foundation, that knowledge yet to be able to really be successful in those courses. So we start you out at 1st year courses. I want to touch quickly, I see someone here asked about university rankings, and that is a really great question, because as I mentioned at the beginning of the session, every country's system is different. And in Canada, we do not have an official rankings system. That is because, for the most part, our institutions are public institutions. So, you know, you've got private institutions and public institutions. Public institutions are regulated by the government. So if you are going to a public institution, St. Mary's is a public institution, all of the universities that you've likely heard of in Canada are probably public institutions. University of Toronto, McGill, University of British Columbia, Guelph, Waterloo, all public institutions. We are all adhering to the same level of standard and requirement that the government is putting on all public institutions. So if you choose a public institution, that's a great step. You can't go wrong. What sets you apart for your future career is what you do in addition to your academics. So I could go to St. Mary's and you could go to the University of British Columbia. We both do the same program. We both take the same courses. We both get the same grades. But if you solely focused on academics, and I, because I went to St. Mary's, a primarily undergraduate institution, I was able to do research with professors. I was able to do paid work in my field of study. I was able to make great connections in the industry. If we both apply for the exact same job, chances are I'm going to get it. Doesn't matter what. It doesn't really matter the name of the school that you go to. It doesn't matter what is on your degree. What matters is going to the right school to give you the opportunity to excel and become a big fish in a small pond, is how I like to put it. It's that well-rounded experience. So where you feel is going to be the best fit for you to be able to take advantage of all of the options and all of the opportunities, that is going to be the right place for you to go. So I do see some more questions, but I want to make sure that I give Farouk the time to chat. So I'm just going to look through the questions here. People are asking about if you have grades less than C in your A levels. It's going to depend. If you have all C's or all D's, I don't know. We kind of look at those 5 courses in total, and we can look at a combination of your O levels and your A levels. So I would need to know the courses you took, the grades you had, but we won't accept any scores below a C. So if in all the 5 subjects you don't have a C, that would not meet our requirements. But at any time, feel free to connect with Farouk or myself. We can look at your documents and see if you know what the best option would be for you. I see some questions coming in about masters. So I don't work with the master's department. I work with undergraduate programs. So those questions I can't answer, unfortunately. But I see, you know, someone asking about bringing your wife if you're coming, that would be through the study permit process. You would, you know, apply with a dependent. So that would be no problem. I see questions about computing science. We have an amazing computing science program at St. Mary's, which allows the opportunity for co-ops, so paid internships in your degree. Someone already in Canada, you'd like to apply to continue your program that you completed in Pakistan. Is there any way to continue instead of starting all over again? Absolutely. So you can apply as a transfer student or a second degree student. We would assess the courses at the university that you had previously attended. We will assess you for transfer credit. So that is a process that requires us to look at the course outlines, what was taught in those classes. If there is an equivalent at St. Mary's, then you would obtain a transfer credit for that. But that's not something I'd be able to tell you by looking at your transcript. You'd have to apply and it would have to go through the transfer process. Okay, so someone's asking, do we offer artificial intelligence or cybersecurity? So those are both areas that are built into our computing science program. So when you are studying the Bachelor of Science in Computing Science, you do learn artificial intelligence, you do learn cybersecurity. There's a number of courses in those areas, but we don't have a specific program in artificial intelligence or a specific program in cybersecurity. But if you want to work in AI or you want to work in cybersecurity, then you definitely would want to start with a computing science program. So Farouk, I'm going to hand it over to you now, if that's okay. I want to make sure that you have the option to chat. Please feel free. I know people are asking still, if your marks are less than C, we need C's or higher. But again, if you have A and O levels, we can look at both. But if you did HSC, we would just look at your HSC result. So C or higher is required. Now Farouk is in California.
This is just a background. Students, I will take only a few minutes to explain and guide about student direct stream, which is very easy and straightforward. And I will say that SDS policy, our student direct stream, is a gift of God for Pakistani students, because now students can get visa within a month without parents' bank statement and without any interview. So you just need to fulfill 3 basic requirements, which is very easy and straightforward. Number 1, you must have IELTS with 6.5 band overall and no less than 6 in any module. Number 2, you will pay your first year tuition fees in advance to the university. And number 3, you will open your bank account in a Canadian bank after your admission letter, which is so easy to open bank account and straightforward, and we will help you in this regard. And you will deposit 10,000 Canadian dollar in that bank for your living cost, khane peene rehne ke liye. So if you fulfill these 3 basic requirements, you will get your visa within a month without interview and without parents' bank statement. और मैं आप तमाम स्टूडेंट्स को यही रिकमेंड करूंगा कि आप अंडर SDS पॉलिसी ही अपना वीजा अप्लाई करें। अभी जिसमें आपने 3 बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट पूरी करनी है। नंबर 1, आपने आइल्स करना है, और अब पीटी को भी इंजेक्ट किया गया है। सो इन फ्यूचर, नियर फ्यूचर, आप पीटी भी कर सकते हैं, बट फिलहाल हम आइल्स की बात करेंगे। सो 6.5 बैंड ओवरऑल एंड नो लेस देन 6 इन एनी मॉड्यूल। नंबर 2, आपने सिर्फ फर्स्ट ईयर की ट्यूशन फीस एडवांस जमा करानी है यूनिवर्सिटी को। नंबर 3, जो कि आखिरी चीज है, कि आपने कैनेडियन बैंक में अपना अकाउंट ओपन करना है और उसमें $10,000 जमा कराने हैं खाने पीने रहने के लिए। इस 10,000 को फिलहाल आप अपना एक्सपेंस ना कंसिडर करें, क्योंकि आपके अकाउंट में पड़े हुए हैं। उधर जाके आप पार्ट टाइम जॉब करेंगे तो आप वहाँ पे खाने पीने रहने के जो अखराजात हैं वो इजीली कवर कर सकते हैं। सो सिर्फ फर्स्ट ईयर की ट्यूशन फीस आपने एडवांस देनी है। तो अगर आपको इसमें कोई भी कंफ्यूजन हो तो आप मुझे विदाउट एनी हेजिटेशन आप क्वेश्चन कर सकते हैं. इवन यू कैन अनम्यूट योर माइक एंड आस्क इन उर्दू और इन इंग्लिश. और मैं आप तमाम को रिकमेंड करूंगा कि नॉन एसटीएस में ना अप्लाई करें, क्योंकि उसमें डिले है और रिफ्यूजल है. बट एसटीएस में एसटीएस फास्ट है और इसमें एक्सेप्टेंस रेट बहुत ज्यादा है. एक क्वेश्चन जो किया था कि जो ऑलरेडी कनाडा में मौजूद है, यस, हम आपको वेलकम करते हैं इन सेंट मेरी यूनिवर्सिटी. आप मुझे सिर्फ इतना बता दें कि आपका वीजा है वो कब एक्सपायर हो रहा है, ताकि मैं आपको गाइड कर सकूं कि आपकी वीजा की सिचुएशन क्या होगी. सो दैट्स ऑल फ्रॉम माय साइड. जी मोहम्मद अजीम, आप अनम्यूट करके क्वेश्चन कर सकते हैं.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम. मैं पाकिस्तान में रहता हूँ. ये मिस से मैंने क्वेश्चन किया था, लेकिन वो नेटवर्क डिस्टोर्शन की वजह से मुझे सुना नहीं. मेरे मार्क्स लेस देन 60% हैं हाई स्कूल के अंदर. तो
ओके,
मैं आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस में स्टडी करना चाहता हूँ, तो मेरे लिए क्या प्रोग्राम होगा इसके लिए?
ओके, आपने अपना इंटरमीडिएट कब मुकम्मल किया?
जी,
आपने अपना इंटरमीडिएट कब मुकम्मल किया है पाकिस्तान में?
मैंने ये मुझे कुछ 2.5 से 3 महीने हो गए खत्म किए को.
Okay, you can get your percentage is acceptable. You just need to do IELTS with 6.5 band overall, no less than 6 in any module, and you can apply your admission for January 2024.
जनवरी, प्लीज रिपीट.
आप अभी एडमिशन के लिए एलिजिबल हैं. आपकी जो क्लासेस होंगी वो जनवरी 2024 में होंगी. तो आपका जो नंबर आपने बताया है
जी
इज क्वाइट रीजनेबल. ठीक है.
जी.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
So my name is Kuratulan, and I am right now in Dubai. I want to ask you a few questions, if you can guide me about that.
Yes, please ask.
Okay, so my qualification is I have done MCS from Karachi University. I have done B.Ed, and right now I'm teaching in Dubai International School.
Yes, Kurutalan, today event is only for the undergraduate students. Do you have my WhatsApp number?
No, sir, I don't have that.
Okay, I send in the chat box. You can contact me after this event. Okay.
Okay, so now can you send it now, please? Because
Yes, I'm
I
sending.
just okay.
I'm
Okay,
sending you. Okay.
okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, please. Any other question?
Assalamu alaikum, sir. So my name is Hussein, and I'm an
Yes.
A-level student doing A1 from City School.
Okay.
Sir, I have joined the session late. Hence, I want to ask you regarding the fee, tuition fee for the university. I wanna took admission in environmental sciences.
Okay. The tuition fees for St. Mary's University is about 24,000 Canadian dollar, and if you get good grades in your A level, like A grades, A star, you can get some scholarship as well, which is renewable. Renewable mean आप हर साल उसमें scholarship मिलेगी. So can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes.
जी. और आप इनसे क्वेश्चन कर सकते हैं कि स्कॉलरशिप कितनी होगी.
Ma'am, please, if you can guide me towards the scholarship.
Yeah, so when you apply to St. Mary's, if you're applying for the January of 2024 semester, we will assess you if you apply before July 1st. for the January 2024 semester, we will assess you automatically for the renewable entrance scholarships. So those range in value depending on academic. So these are a strictly academic scholarship. They range in value from $2,000 to $7,000. You would get that every year. In addition, you can apply for additional scholarships in between March and May of every year once you've started at St. Mary's. So we do not have any full scholarships, but we do have partial scholarships. So right now, if you're looking to come for January 2024, we would assess you automatically for the renewable entrance scholarships. And then in March of 2024, the application will open for additional scholarships, and you could apply for those after your first semester at St. Mary's.
All right, ma'am. And tuition fee for all the courses, is it the same?
So no, each program is different. So we charge on a per course basis at St. Mary's. So it will depend, you know, if you are a science student, taking pretty much all science courses. If you're a business student, you might be taking courses in different areas. So it's going to depend on the courses that you're taking. But this estimate here, 24, is pretty kind of standard. So it wouldn't change too much in terms of the tuition. Again, each case is going to be different, but if you do see there's a website there, smu.ca/calculator, you can go there and it'll give you like more of a solid estimate. Or if you would like to receive more of a breakdown of each program, you can send an email either to myself or to international@smu.ca, and we can send you more of like a tuition breakdown.
All right, ma'am. Final question. St. Mary's is in Halifax.
Yes.
Please, if you can, because Vancouver and Toronto are the major metropolitan cities of Canada.
Yes.
So is it easy to find part-time jobs for a student in Halifax or cities like Brampton or etc.?
Yeah, so excuse me. So as you can see here on the map, this is where Halifax is. We are on the east coast in the province of Nova Scotia. So Brampton, that's going to be in the Toronto area, and then as you can see on the other side, that's Vancouver. So in Halifax, there's tons of jobs for students. You can work on campus, you can work off campus. It just kind of depends what your interests are, kind of what you prefer. Personally, I've never met a student who wanted to work while studying that couldn't find a job. We are one of the fastest growing cities in Canada right now. We are seeing a very big shift to the economic situation here in Halifax. In the past 3 years, we've had the highest number of people moving here from other parts of Canada. So we've seen companies like Amazon, IBM, moving offices to Halifax. So there's a lot of growth happening here, a lot of job opportunity for people while you're a student, and then afterward as well. So Halifax is a great place. It is smaller than Toronto and Vancouver. We're just under 500,000 people. So in some cases, you know, less people, but that's also less competition when you're applying for jobs. So just kind of depends on what you as an individual are looking for.
And weather is excellent. And weather is excellent.
Yes, we do have one of the more mild climates here. So because we're almost an island, but we are attached behind that little pin. You just can't see it. You know, our weather is very much regulated by the Gulf Stream. So we tend to get more rain than we do snow. So if you are looking to ease into a Canadian winter, Halifax is a good place to do that.
All right, ma'am, just one more question.
Sure.
20-hour limit for a student to work in Canada with a study permit, right? So apart from his physical job he's doing, could he work online in the residence he's living, uh, uh, crossing the limit of 20 hours of work?
Mhm. So in October of 2022, the Canadian government removed the 20-hour-a-week limit for international students working. So currently there is no limit. However, it is very important to remember that when you are coming to Canada on a study permit, you're coming to Canada to study. So it is very crucial that you are making studying the priority. Every student is different. Every human's capacity for what they can handle is different. I do not recommend working more than 20 hours, depending on the program that you're in. And depending on the individual, because if your studies flip and you lose that study permit, that's it, right? So you really want to make sure that studying is the priority, and then if you're able to take on more work, great. But I would, be cautious of how much the person is working. I understand that work is required. We need money. Things are expensive. I understand. I worked my entire way through university as well. But it's really important to be able to balance the two.
All right.
Right now,
ma'am.
there's
Thank
no
you.
cap on that because of the labor shortage in Canada. There is no cap on hours that students can work.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. So before we wrap up, perhaps, I just want to mention again, I work with undergraduate programs. So I do see Mohammed, thank you so much for writing out your experience and your interest. So Farouk will be a better person for you to get in contact with for what your potential next steps could be. So at St. Mary's, we have a few master's programs. PhDs in Canada are quite difficult to come into just, as an international student. Typically you have to have, at St. Mary's anyway, a lot of experience kind of in that area with that person that's going to be kind of your supervisor. So it's not as simple as just applying to a program. So I would recommend that you chat further with Farouk, anyone here who is interested in a master's program, and he'll be able to give you more information and connect you with the folks that, can give you more details about the master's program that you're interested in. Okay, last call for questions. If not, we can let you go and move on with your evening. I just want to say thanks so much, everyone, for joining. Hopefully, I'll be able to welcome you to the St. Mary's campus at some point. And
Yes.
thank you for organizing this.
Thank you very much. And I hope we will be able to send quality students from Pakistan, and you will be welcoming in Halifax. And one day we will welcome you in Pakistan, so, so that you can go in different cities to conduct admission seminars. Pakistan is a beautiful country. You will enjoy over there.
I cannot wait. I was supposed to come before COVID, and then everything happened, and we all know the struggles it's been the past few years. So let's hope we get back to normal soon, and we can just move on.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much. Dear students, I'm still available for a few more minutes. You can ask a question. And on behalf of Pakistan students, I thank you again. And I hope we will have another session in next month. I hope so.
Yes, great.
Yes, yes.
Anytime. I'm always available and happy to do these kind of sessions, even one-on-one with a few students, whatever works.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, well, have a great night, everyone. My dog is waking up from his nap.
Okay, have a nice weekend. Enjoy with your dog.
Thank you. Take
Okay.
care.
Take care. जी स्टूडेंट्स, कोई क्वेश्चन है तो आप कर सकते हैं. किसी ने आइल्स करना हो, फिजिकल क्लासेस भी हैं ऑन कैंपस एंड जोम के ऊपर ऑनलाइन क्लासेस भी हैं 5 PM डेली मंडे टू फ्राइडे. और मेरा ऑफिस एडमिशन से लेकर वीजा हासिल करने तक इंक्लूडिंग आइल्स प्रिपरेशन आपको फुल सपोर्ट देगा. चाहे आप पाकिस्तान के किसी भी शहर से ताल्लुक रखते हैं, फील फ्री to send your document to ask any question. You can have WhatsApp video call, Zoom video call. So you will have our full support for your admission, for your visa. साइमा नुदरा साहिबा, आपकी वीजा नेक्स्ट ईयर तक चूंकि अवेलेबल है, सो यू आर गुड टू गो. आप, मैंने चैट में अपना ईमेल एड्रेस लिख दिया है, आप मुझे अपने डॉक्यूमेंट्स भेज सकती हैं ताकि मैं आपकी एडमिशन के लिए आपकी हेल्प कर सकूं.
ओके, थैंक यू सर.
और इसके अलावा अगर किसी ने कनाडा के अलावा, बिकॉज कनाडा के अलावा हम ऑस्ट्रेलिया, यूके, यूएस में भी हेल्प करते हैं स्टूडेंट्स की, तो वो ईमेल आप कर सकते हैं. आज का सेशन प्योरली स्टडी इन कनाडा के हवाले से था. ठीक है.
सर, मुझे एक बार आप दोबारा बता सकते हैं कि उन्होंने स्टडी वर्किंग कैप कितना बताया था अक्टूबर 2022 के बाद?
यस, अभी फिलहाल तो फुल टाइम जॉब करने की परमिशन है क्योंकि शॉर्टेज है कनाडा में. ठीक है. तो और अभी उन्होंने इस साल तजर्बाती तौर पे ये शुरू किया कि पार्ट टाइम की बजाय फुल टाइम की परमिशन दी. तो अभी वो कुछ मंथ के बाद पता लगेगा कि अभी इसको कंटिन्यू रखेंगे क्योंकि शॉर्टेज तो स्टिल मौजूद है. तो बहरहाल आप लोग कोशिश करें कि पढ़ाई की तवज्जो ज्यादा हो ताकि आपकी नींद पूरी हो, आप अच्छा पढ़ सकें. ठीक है. जी, और कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं तो फिर इसको वाइंड अप करते हैं. और ईमेल आप लोगों के पास है, व्हाट्सएप नंबर भी है, आप मुझसे कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं. ओके. जी अब्दुल रऊफ बोले, आवाज आपकी कट कट के आ रही है.
एड्रेस का पूछ रहा था मैं. ऑफिस किस जगह पे आपका?
आप किस शहर से हैं?
सर मैं सरगोदा से हूँ. सरगोदा.
ठीक है. हमारा जो हेड ऑफिस है वो आपको ज्यादा सूट करेगा, वो लाहौर में है. तो मैं आपको लोकेशन सेंड करता हूँ. आपके पास मेरा व्हाट्सएप नंबर आ गया है, आप मुझे हेलो का मैसेज कर दें. आप जैसे लिख दें फ्रॉम सरगोदा.
जी ठीक है सर, मैं कर देता हूँ.
ओके, थैंक यू. ओके जी, इसको फिनिश करते हैं इवेंट को.
ओके सर, बहुत शुक्रिया. अल्लाह हाफिज.
शुक्रिया. अल्लाह हाफिज.
Sir, if I send you a message in WhatsApp, can you guide me about that? Because I want to start my teaching license process in Canada. Can you tell me how I can start that?
मोस्ट वेलकम, मोस्ट वेलकम. आप मुझे व्हाट्सएप मैसेज करें, हो सकता है मैं अभी आपको फोन कर लूं. ठीक है.
Okay,
लेकिन अगर ना
thank
कर
you, sir.
सका तो फिर मैं इंशाल्लाह कल करूंगा. ठीक है.
Okay.